We're hanging out Steamboat Springs, Colorado for Music Fest. We're here for the final day now. This is crazy how time has flown. And Adam Hood is with us. How are you, sir?
Oh, this is the last day.
I know.
It's a little bit of a sad reality. I mean, it hadn't sunk in till you said that.
I know. Well, I've been sitting up here pondering it, and I'm like, man, time has really flown through on this.
I'll miss you, Heather.
I'm going to miss you too, Adam. No, I've got to say, you've had some fun adventures while you've been out here. You did get sick, and you scared us all a little bit.
I got sick, yeah, I did. This was really kind of I feel like this was the first time that I got sick enough to say, I'm going to sit this one out tonight.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, and again, like we were talking about earlier, I feel like that I took more preventative measures than by all means that I normally do. I mean, I'm pretty chemical free these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the things that would, I guess, I don't know. I guess I need to be drinking a little bit more bleach or something like that. I don't know.
Is that what clears the system out?
I don't know. Whatever I was doing wrong, apparently I was doing it right. In Steamboat, now I'm doing it wrong.
Just takes, what number are you on now?
5. April will be 6. Yeah.
So you ski, or do you snowboard? What do you do?
I ski. My wife snowboards, but I ski.
Oh.
Yeah. She's way better at it. I mean, and again, we didn't this year just because, well, I was busy.
Yeah, you was a little busy out here.
Busy, yeah, which is good. I'd rather come up here and, as much as I enjoy the vacation aspect of it, I mean, the atmosphere is pretty vacation-y, and I feel pretty blessed to have, all the vacations we take are working vacations, so.
Yeah, how does that work? Like, you've got your kids. Like, how does vacation time happen for a musician, a writer like you?
It's working vacations. Now, granted, the kids are 7 and 5 now, and so we didn't bring them kids with us.
Yes, it's parent time. It's parent time.
Me and Dad are doing our own thing, and because 7 and 5, they'll tear this whole mountain down. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I sure know what they're saying.
So probably, I think next year, Edie, my youngest, will probably be at an age to where we can get to it.
Yeah.
So.
You think you'll send them to ski school while you're up here?
Yeah, most definitely. We took the girls skiing in Red River, New Mexico. I did the Red River Songwriters Festival last year, and it's a beautiful slope, but it's considerably smaller. And so we got there and we said, well, okay, we'd like to put the girls in ski school, and they said, well, you should have done that last month. And so, yeah, I know, unbeknownst to us. And so we were like, well, we got them dressed. Let's just put your skis on, kids.
Let's just go for it.
And so by the time I got the skis on Edie, Drew, my 7-year-old, was down the hill. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So she had just took off. And so, I'd say ski school would probably be good for the younger one. We probably do both of them, but our hotel is right there past ski school. So, there's babies.
Yeah.
They're babies.
Yeah, I see them on leashes while I'm up here. Have you seen that yet? I don't know if you've seen the
Where do you buy them?
Where do you buy them?
Where do you get them leashes?
It is kind of funny to watch. And then as they zoom past me, I'm like, man, I am not that talented.
I know, right? Yeah.
Getting passed up by a 5-year-old up here on the mountain.
They just, they have such a low center of gravity, and falling is not as painful to them, I guess.
Yeah, and also, like, jobs, we've got us adults, we have to make money, and the kids don't really think about that when they're going down the mountain.
Can't tear these hands up.
Yes, exactly. You can't do that. That's not gonna.
That's
it's not a good thing. Well, you just put out Buzzes Like Neon with Ella Langley. How did y'all get partnered up for this song?
So Ella is a friend of mine. She's from Alabama.
Yes.
And so I've known her for a long time just through that. The music circles in Alabama are pretty small. And I've been at this for a long time, and so she's just somebody that I met a long time ago, and I knew her before she moved to Nashville, and she moved, and things are really happening for her fast, and I'm kind of glad I caught her when I did.
Yeah.
Because basically, we decided to do this record, and it's a remake basically of the 2007 record, and so we wanted to stick as close as we could to the original, but the things that we wanted to do different, that was one of them, just to have a feature, and because with Harder Stuff and Miranda being involved with that was successful.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. And so we figured we'd try to do it again, and I already cashed in that chip with Miranda, so I just sent her a text message and said, hey, would you be willing to sing a verse on Buzzes Like Neon? And she said yes, and we did it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is really cool. And speaking of Miranda, you're going to be playing with her at the Whitewater Amphitheater coming up, I guess is that
May.
May?
That's right, last weekend in
You
May.
and Wade. So that's Memorial Weekend that's going
Yes.
on. Oh,
She's doing
my
a 3-day
gosh.
run, and so it's her and Wade all 3 days, and we're the first of the 3. And I can't remember who the other acts are, but I know they were recognizable names. And so
That's
it'll be
so
good.
fun. That's
Yeah.
got to be an exciting weekend. Is that like a vacation weekend for you then?
Maybe. I think I'm only going to be there that day, and then we've got to work the rest of the weekend. But I will
work.
say this: that's the place where she discovered me. I mean, if there's
Is it really?
in New Braunfels, yeah. I was playing Tavern on the Green. They used to do Ray Wiley Hubbard used to do that Roots and Branches show. He and Madsen
Yes.
did it.
Yeah.
And I was doing the show that night. They did it on Tuesday. And her and her mother were on vacation down there. Their car broke down, and they stayed
my
the night.
gosh.
Came over, got a drink. I was sitting there playing, and this was like pretty much like 2005, second record of mine.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was primed for some discovery.
So I was actually curious how you got paired up with her on that too, because that's kind of a cool dynamic. But as a musician, is it hard finding out who you want to pair with, like as doing a duet like that, or just having them sing with you?
Yeah, it is. I mean, like there are difficult choices, but at the same time, I mean, you know, you kind of trust your gut. I mean, it's not a hard decision when you kind of look around you at the friends you keep anyway. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? Because if I'm going to, you know, I mean, I'll usually do stuff with Jason Eady or Brent
You've
Cobb
got
or somebody
terrible
like that.
friends
I know,
over here,
right? I
right?
know.
Gosh.
Sorry, shabby people. I run with some shabby people.
Some shabby people. It was fun the other night when you were up there at Thunderhead, just enjoying the music. It was Bruce and Jason up there, and then they brought you up there and Jack. That was a cool.
That was pretty cool.
That was a cool night. And those are moments that only happen here. I got to say at Steamboat.
I will say that you're absolutely right. That's probably one of the most beneficial, the biggest benefit to being here and to coming as as an audience member to see things like that. I would say that doesn't happen anywhere else. You know, this is where everyone is for the whole time, and so I get to go see Randy, and I get to go see Jason and Chris Knight and stuff like that. So it's nice to be able to do those kind of things. You don't get to do that anywhere else.
No, you don't. And I want to talk a little bit about "Can't Stand Leaving." That song, I love that tune.
Thank you.
It's just such a cool. Like you can go through so many vibes with just listening to one of your albums. Like you can go through.
Thanks.
There's like this. There is that feel of the high, the low, the heart, the fun. There's such a gamut of your writing, and I absolutely love it. And I think that song has all of
Yeah.
that in there.
Thank you. Thanks for saying that. Excuse me. That was, I mean, honestly, that's been the goal since I was a kid. You know, I mean, I decided I want to start writing when I heard John Hyatt's "Bring the Family," and you know, it's a pretty obscure record, but at the same time, a pretty benchmark record for a pretty masterful songwriter, and I discovered it 17 years old. Wow. You know what I mean? And that was the thing that was so appealing about that album, was the fact that there were these blues songs, but these left to center blues tunes, and like just different kind of New Orleans grooves to them. But then there were these country feels to these songs, and so I say all that to say it was a really eclectic album.
Yes.
And so the album that I really gravitated to first in my life as a writer, when I said that's what I want to do, that's what I wanted to do, and I wanted to be able to be an eclectic writer,
Yeah.
because that way you're able to write with more people. And I feel like I'm in the process of writing with a lot more people.
That is so. Let's dive into some songwriting too.
Okay.
By the way, you are such a cool. Like seeing if we look through the credits of people that you have wrote for.
Yeah.
That I feel like that would be like the length of a lot of the CVS receipts that people are tweeting about all the time. Like
That's funny.
you have such a cool list that you have wrote for, and so how do you pair up? Like you're like I wrote this song, man. After you finish it, you're like, should I send this to this person, or how do you do that?
I really try to be diligent about it. My wife is credit where it's due. She's really kind of she, for lack of a better word, she'll kind of cattle prod me to make sure that I'm.
Hey, you got it. This is
Yes.
do this.
Hey, reach out to so and so, and I'm just, you kind of keep your ear to the ground when it comes to people, who's writing, who's making a record, and just I try to, if I make friends. And again, same thing. I've learned this from my wife more than anything. If you make friends, try your best to keep them.
Yes.
And what better what better excuse to send someone a text message to say, hey man, I started a song and I was thinking about you.
Yeah.
Or hey man, or gal, I saw you were coming through Tuscaloosa. Can I come see your show, or just anything, whatever. And so I've just tried to keep those relationships with as many people as I could, and it seems to, everybody's always looking for music, and I'm always willing to help somebody write it.
That's really cool. You were talking earlier that you're better at co-writing than sharing the stage with people, right?
I would much rather write with folks.
And has anyone guessed correctly on what songs that you've wrote that ended up being on Cody Jinks's album yet?
If they guessed correctly, I didn't see it, and I know they didn't get both of them.
They didn't get both of them.
Yes, correct.
So they did get one correct. And which one was it that people? Do you remember?
I think somebody said A Few More Ghosts. I think that was what I saw my old manager Ryan Gardenhire. I think he guessed that one. But yeah, I wrote Deceiver's Blues and I wrote A Few More Ghosts. And so I wrote A Few More Ghosts with Cody and Brian Martin and Jake Worthington. So it was the four of us. So yeah, that was kind of a cool little
That's such
powwow.
a different vibe with every single one of y'all.
That's Jinx, man.
Yes, and I love that.
I know.
Y'all brought together a really cool group. It's like every aspect of Texas Red Dirt and Americana music was in that room.
Well, and I mean, again, talk about having your ear to the ground. Cody's, man, he's great at it, and is really. He's approachable. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And has a lot of friends. Same way. I think he's really great at knowing what songs are good and what songs are good for him, as opposed to ones that aren't. Because I mean, there's a song that Jason and Courtney played that's it's called Mean Spirits, and I don't think that Jinx recorded it, but it is a spectacular song. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so it's one that I bet I'll see it on the record someday. But it's interesting that song is so great, but yet not on this record.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I mean,
the guy has a knack for it, and like I said, I mean, it has to be a lot of the fact that like he knows what he likes, mm-hmm. and he's always been really appreciative and just sincere about my music, and so I just try to send him as much as I can.
Well, let's talk about your music. What's on the docket for you coming up in 2024?
I just went in and recorded 4 more songs.
Yes.
Went back to Capricorn Studios with Brent Cobb. Bad Days Better. We recorded that in Capricorn. It was 2020, so that was like summer of COVID.
Yeah, yeah.
But man, that's a special studio. I mean, that's where Marshall Tucker Band recorded, Charlie Daniels recorded Wet Willie. I mean, just that's where Otis Redding's from. It just the South that I live in.
The South that you live in.
That's it. And I think Brent and I made a great record. Brent is one person that can tell me what to do, and I won't say, you better not tell me what to do.
Have you said that to somebody before?
Maybe. Maybe I've said, you better not tell me what to do to some people.
And if Adam says that, I'm just going to say, yes, sir. Okay, yes,
that's
sir.
Right. Yes, sir. I won't say another word.
Yep, I'm going to hush up over here.
Brent, on the other hand, can tell me what to do, and I said it. Even the other day, I was like, okay. I said, this is me trusting you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's, yeah.
Well, I'm excited about that. Cohen, you back in the studio, back with Brent Cobb on those. Is it going to be like an EP that you're going to put out, or are you just going to drop singles with
We don't know.
You don't know?
It's a whole new world these days.
For real. Oh, my gosh. I've been talking to everybody about that. And it's like, well, how do we do that? How do you navigate through this?
And
nobody
honestly,
knows.
I don't know. I mean, we're doing the same thing everybody else is. We're just kind of throwing it up against the wall. But I think that's it. Economically, it makes more sense to go in every 4 months and record 4 songs.
Yeah.
And, like that, it's easier to do that because that takes 2 days as opposed to going in, taking a week, recording 10 songs. Again, from an economic perspective, it's more efficient.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Oh, you're good.
So, but that also, I mean, I don't know that it necessarily slows down the album process, but and I'm one of those guys that like I've made albums, a lot of them.
No,
I mean,
yes,
this will be like number 9, and so. But I say that to say that out of 9 albums, 1 of them is a re-release and 2 of them are EPs. Mm-hmm. So it's not uncharted waters for me.
Right.
It's just a matter of trying to figure out, how and when and where. And, you got to do it a lot quicker these days.
Yes, you do.
I mean, the album cycle, where for me, an album cycle was like 3.5 years, which is too long.
Well, there are some people it's like
Yes.
5 or 6 too.
Right,
there.
exactly. Well, I mean, 18 months is an album cycle these days.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so you kind of got to get your head around it.
And our attention span, I feel like, is like this big.
5 seconds. You got
Yeah.
5 seconds.
That makes it hard.
Yeah, it does.
So then do you like choose, do I do a long intro on the song or do I just slam them right at the beginning?
No intros, no outros.
intros.
That's how I do it.
I love it.
I love it too. It's kind
Yeah.
of, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you go through about 4 or 5 songs where it's like no intro, no outro. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, just roll with it,
yeah.
man. Let's do this.
This one's in your face. This one's in your face.
Yes.
This is in your face.
And then we'll just slowly draw you in.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
right.
now that you're stuck with me, you're going to hear this
Yes,
song.
I've been in your face this whole time. You have no option.
No option here. Say no. Actually, don't ever say
Don't
no
tell
to
me
Adam.
what to do.
Don't tell Adam what to do. Well, man, thank you so much for your time. I really
Thank you,
appreciate
Heather.
you dropping
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a pleasure.